Assalamualaikum and good greetings. So in this video I will be taking a look at the response by Dex van der Wel to my comment with regard to a question that I posed onto his video. Now this is basically a video where he have the episode number 3. I have reacted to this video, and afterwards I ask this question basically, right? So thank you for interesting opinion on what you have read in the Quran. Enjoyed reacting to this video. Just a question. Do you see religion to be within the limited scope of living as individual or in society, or also on how to run a government/country, including dealing with external entities? Thank you. Right, so because in the video he talked about, or he asked the question whether Islam is really religion of peace. And to answer that, because the contrast that he see is that there are verses that say peace and there are verses about battle, there's a verses about war. Hence, is it truly religion of peace? Now, to be able to answer that, first I want to understand his perspective, whether he think the religion from God is just limited for scope of, you know, individual living or society, or also including how a government should run, including dealing with external parties, external countries, etc., which may involve, you know, two states in a state of war. Hence, there would be, if the religion from God include that level, that it would include, or it may include, how to deal with that, whether you know, how to deal with the battle or war, or just be pacifist even if your country is being attacked or whatever. There should be a certain teaching. Now in Christianity, I know that, you know, turn the other cheek, etc., and some Christians say that, yeah, Christianity is religion of pacifist, meaning that that is what Jesus teach. My question is, are you saying that the teaching of Jesus there includes how to run a government, meaning that if another government, another state attack you, bomb you or whatever, the army, you know, using parachute, etc., to your country, be pacifist, you know, yeah, just be patient, or what, right? From my perspective, of course, in Islam there are many prophets that their teaching, because of the mission of each prophet, do not include the level of running a state. Hence, we you know, the teaching is within human individual life as well as society life. Hence, that's why there's no mention about how to deal in battle, etc., etc., etc. And as a society in Islam as well, there's no such thing as in society you pick up arms, etc. It is never as such. You have to have an established state before those things come into the picture, right? So that's one clear thing. Anyway, back to the question. That's the context of my question. Now his response here. Hey, that is a great question. I would say religion can and should lead an individual to advocate for their religion to be spread within society. Okay, I would agree. If the religion is a religion of truth and you believe in it, you should also want to spread it to others, because you would want the best for others, and the best is for them to also know the truth. I'm in total agreement for that. For example, if Christianity is true, then I should want societal values to reflect Christian ethics. Yeah, I agree, but with a certain premise, because what God have teach us should be the best solution for society, regardless of their belief. Hence, I would want that value to be there, right? Not just because yeah, that's a longer discussion, but yeah, generally I would have the same sentiment. Generally speaking, I want Christian ideas to spread and shared because they are true. Fully agreement with that, in the sense, not in the sense that Christian is true, but if I believe something is true, I would want everyone to know that this is the truth and they also subscribe to it. Same sentiment. However, I don't think a government should come out and say we are Christian and everyone should be Christian or else. Now this is where either he assumed my question about religion being at the level of state means this one, or he have also presupposition or preconceived notion about what Islam is, as if Islam says we are Muslim country, hence you all have to abide by Muslim values, or else, you know, some people do have that idea, but that is not what Islam teach, right? There's no compulsion. That's number one. Number two, even for example, we say alcohol, it is haram for those who are Muslim. Of course, as a state, you can also make it haram in context where it is involving in term of public safety, etc. Don't drink and drive, etc., etc., right? Which everyone can understand. But, you know, haram to drink at all, that's on Muslim. For example, right? Pray 5 times a day, on Muslim. Hijab, on Muslim. But there are also some other things that is understood by all, so that becomes not Islamic dictated law, but, you know, a different discussion, ta'zir, etc. But anyway, so here Islam do not teach something like this, because we are Islamic country or Muslim country. Everyone should be Muslim. There's no such thing. But if a country become Muslim, then the country would want the previous part, right? Would want everyone to understand, etc. Hence, the education system would teach it, etc. To portray the true teaching, blah blah blah. That would be there, but it is not forced. It's not like everyone must, etc. Right? Because that wouldn't lead to authentic Christians. Similarly, if Islam is understood as obeying and worship Allah alone, you submit to Allah alone. If you use fear or force onto someone, be Muslim. Otherwise, and okay, I'm a Muslim, he is not submitting to God, he is submitting to me. He's not worshiping God, he's worshiping me. That's the furthest from Islam you can get. Right? So that's why I don't understand any Muslim that think it is okay to force anyone to become Muslim, because it doesn't make sense. You want them to submit to God, hence give them understanding, give them, you know, so that desire to worship God alone, etc., so that they will worship God. If you push them, force them, etc., they will pretend to be so because fear of you, or they will actually do it in submission to you. Then it's not submission to God anyway anymore. It's submission to you. Na'uzubillah. That's the worst thing that we can do, right? So Islam never teach that. So yeah. So I think religion is personal, but also objectively true, and there's nothing wrong with spreading what you believe to be true. So the conclusion, so I think religion is personal. That's the thing. Because my question is this. Basically, I'm not saying that you know, the connotation of Islamic State, something like that. My question is, going back to my question, do you see religion to be within the limited scope of living as individual or society, or also how to run a government? So when you say how to run a government or country, it's not about forcing people to be of that religion. It is, okay, in a government, for example in Islam, right, you shouldn't have the economic system based on interest. That is haram, that is sin. Right. So for example, that is an economic system. In terms of judiciary system, yeah, so that is another example, right? So there's a judiciary system, how is the, how to say, persecution, etc., process, what is the court case, meaning the processes to convict someone to be how to say, committed a crime, etc., meaning the system, right? So all of those, and what to do if, you know, a nation is at a certain stage of war, etc., how to deal with it. So is there, my question is simply, do you think that religion or teaching from God cover this part as well or not? Because if he said it is only personal, obviously that religion would not teach things as such, because that is something that is only decision maker in the country level is dealing with, not a personal level, right? In Islam, it is very interesting so far, because that is the idea of Islamic State. Of course, to address this, first I would, if we are in conversation, I would request, what do you mean by Islamic State? Because I cannot say yes or no unless I understand what you mean by that word, because it can be something totally far away from Islam, it can be something within the scope of Islam when you refer to that word. So I'm not sure, but Islam does teach how a state should be run, right? The term Islamic State itself is not in the Quran. Is there anything in the Hadith? I'm not sure. I don't think so, but the idea of how it should be run, etc., is obviously there. And there are countries that are legally Muslim. I'm not sure what this means. There are countries that are legally Muslim. How is it a country legally Muslim? A country officially announced that they are Islamic country, etc., I do understand, but Muslim is for individual, the term Muslim, right? I think it's an optimistic idea, but also the downside is a lot of people in the country are probably Muslim just because they are forced to be. Okay, I think this statement is based on the idea that Muslim country or Islamic country force, or either you are forced or you are indirectly pressured. The second one can happen if the state is run in a certain way that I'm not, we have to go into specific to discuss about this. But yeah, I do agree that education is the main thing in Islam to lead to people to worship God, not worship the government or the ruler, right? So I see pros and cons to both. What are your thoughts? So yeah, this is my thought. I would just put the link to this video on here afterwards, because I'm not sure how to write the comment there. Anyway, so yeah, that's it for this video, because I just realized I haven't commented on this yet. It's already 11 days. Anyway, I hope this video is not long enough, and hopefully he can have a watch on this video and see what he say about this. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time.